Hey, episode 102 of the Nashville Artist Podcast is now out, featuring Sierra Sevier. Sierra is a photographer and videographer with a keen eye for capturing concerts. Her journey into visual storytelling began through a love of live music and capturing the energy of concerts, inspired by everything from Billie Eilish, disposable camera aesthetics, to the raw authenticity of Paul McCartney's Beatles photography. Sierra's work captures emotion, imperfection, and human connection. She reflects on discovering music photography through Hippo Campus, joining Pleaser magazine and developing a style built around film textures, experimental lighting, flash, and thermal visuals. We also talk about creative risk, freelancing, leaving the financial stability of a 9-to-5, and why supporting artists through prints, photo books, and physical media still matters. This episode is all about observation, storytelling, and capturing moments that feel alive. Enjoy the podcast episode.
But I feel like now, the newer games and stuff, you can kind of do whatever you want, really. You can still do the missions and stuff, because it would probably be boring without that. But you can kind of, like, go around, get food and cook it, and chill and ride on a horse. It's pretty crazy.
Is the horse named McCartney?
You get to name your own horse. Okay. It's cool because you get to go out into the wild and you have to like sneak up and try and get on a wild horse. Oh, wow. And then you train it. Yeah. And then you can name it, which my horse's name is Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi?
Yeah. Because my nickname is Cece.
Oh, yeah.
So then I was like, I don't know, Chi-Chi.
Why is your nickname Cece?
It's just what people called me from when I was younger. Mainly like close friends and stuff. I don't really go by Cece.
Yeah.
To new people, but if someone introduces me as CC, then I'm not really mad about it, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah, but Sierra's usually just, that's what I go by.
Yeah, Sierra is a really cool name.
Thank you. I like Sierra. I was almost named my middle name, which is Nicole.
Oh, yeah?
And then I was going to be called Nikki. Then my parents decided last minute that they liked Sierra.
Yeah, I like Sierra more than Nikki or Nicole, but those are still cool names. Wow.
And my niece and nephew don't even know me as Sierra. I don't know. Well, my niece could definitely say my name, but not my nephew.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So they just call me Cece.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of a hard name for a little kid.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll get started here.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Nashville Artist. I'm Jordan, and today Sierra Sevier is here. Thank you for coming over and doing this.
Of course. I'm excited.
Awesome. So where are you from?
I am originally from Mount Juliet, Tennessee, about half an hour outside of Nashville. But I went to college in Nashville, and I've just lived here ever since.
Where did you go to college?
Lipscomb.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. What did you study at Lipscomb?
I majored in communications and minored in music.
Nice. Playing an instrument or just like music business?
General music. Okay. I did general music because I wanted to mainly take music business classes, but I also took theory classes, sight singing, ear training, music literature, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So a little more about history of music and how things operate.
Educational aspects of it?
Yeah. And I had to take piano classes as well.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't mind that.
Nice. Do you still play piano or anything?
No, not really. I mean, if there's a piano in the room, I'll sit down and play it for a little bit, but I don't really practice it. It was just kind of the easier option because I also play banjo, but I was not going to do a proficiency in banjo in college. I just wanted to keep it simple and light.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any siblings?
I have an older sister. She's 7 years older.
What is her name?
Amber.
Amber.
Yeah.
Is she also into like art and music and stuff?
Not really. We're pretty opposite. She's a really great painter and drawer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's not like what she mainly does or anything. She likes the farm life and has her kids out on the farm and stuff.
Does she live in Nashville?
Carthage.
Carthage.
You know where that's at?
I think so.
It's probably an hour from here.
North or?
Like if you're going towards Cookville.
Okay.
Yeah. So like east, north-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So all my family is here.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about your parents? Are they into music or art or anything like that?
My dad is really into music, but nobody is like a musician in my family. No one loves arts like that.
Yeah.
I kind of had to come into it on my own.
What do your parents do?
My dad is an IT guy.
Oh, yeah.
He does coding and that kind of stuff. And my mom is an administrative assistant with Tennessee Housing.
Okay.
So she basically both office work.
Pretty analytical people.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. I always have a hard time describing their jobs specifically because I don't even know that they know how to describe it like that.
Oh,
It's just kind of
they just do it.
they do it. Yeah. They just do it. I don't know.
They get on the computer.
Yeah, they go to the office and do their computer work and get things done and then go home.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what were you into as a little kid?
Music, sports. I loved to be outside and play. Because my sister is 7 years older, we never really were in the same age range at all. So I spent a lot of time by myself outside, playing in trees, in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
We had woods behind our house, so I was out there a lot. I really hobby hopped, to be honest, as a kid. I loved playing basketball. I loved playing softball. I loved learning piano and guitar. I've always loved video games. I played on my GameCube a lot. I love to be outside, but I love to be on my GameCube.
Nice.
Yeah. That was pretty much, I did a little bit of everything as a kid just because I wanted to.
What did you play on your GameCube?
I loved Crazy Taxi.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of my favorites. Super Monkey Ball.
Oh, yeah. Super Monkey Ball.
That's a classic. We had all the Zelda games, Animal Crossing.
I didn't realize it was that old, Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on the GameCube.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know when Animal Crossing was introduced. I don't know if it was before GameCube or if that was the introduction, but yeah, and we had all the Sims games, which my sister played Sims.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sims was fun. You could
Yeah.
like interior decoration.
Yeah. Which normally I don't necessarily love,
Yeah.
but it was fun to watch. I loved watching my sister play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're like, I'm spending my time making this person live,
Yeah. Yeah.
giving them a social life,
Yeah.
making sure there's no flies.
Yeah. I love when my friends, I have a couple friends now that play Sims and they love to make me on the game and give me a house and a family.
Visit you and stuff. Wow.
I think that's awesome. That's what I do love about Sims. I don't know that I could do that myself,
Yeah,
but I love when other people make worlds and stuff like that.
definitely. So what first got you into art, photography, and film?
Honestly, going to a lot of concerts.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had a Polaroid camera growing up, but I didn't really take it everywhere and intentionally take photos like that. And then, what was the first show that I went to? In college, I went to a lot of shows, and I guess eventually just kind of felt inspired to bring a film point and shoot camera because I thought it was just a fun souvenir for myself. I loved the disposable cameras. I always brought it to Bonnaroo. And oh, yeah, I saw Billie Eilish at Ascend
Oh, really?
in, I think it was 2019, right before COVID. And I got those disposable pictures back. And that made me kind of realize that I would like to learn a little bit more. And then I went to Hippo Campus at Marathon Music Works. And that's when I had my film point and shoot. And I saw someone else doing a music photography job. And I didn't realize that that was a job. So that kind of made me rethink some things on, oh, I'd like to try this. And I talked to this girl that I met there because I went by myself. And she worked for Pleaser magazine, which is what I'm a part of now. But she was like, hey, do you take photos a lot and stuff? And I was like, yeah, not really, but I want to. And we exchanged information, and she told me that I should join Pleaser because at the time it was just starting up. And so I joined, and basically all the shows that I was going to go to just as a listener, I brought my camera and got a photo pass to try and build something out of it, a portfolio or something like that. And I reached out to a friend that was working with the Aces. This was my first photo pass. And I was like, hey, how can I take pictures at that show? And he put me on the list to take pictures. And it was really weird going into that experience because I'm not a photographer, but there are people here with professional cameras. But also, I guess I am because I'm here. So I just had to put on a cap of, I am a photographer, and take pictures.
Nice.
So that was kind of the start of getting into film and photography and that kind of stuff because I loved going to shows and I loved the visual aspects of it all. And I wanted to figure out how to capture it. And it started out as just souvenirs for myself, the pictures and stuff. But then I started to really fall in love with it and want to technically learn what I was doing. So just kind of snowballed after that.
Nice. Were there any like early influences for your art or film? Like, you're like, I really like how they do it.
At first, no. I didn't really quite know what I was looking for. I just kind of knew what I was seeing at a show. I didn't really shoot outside of concerts for a while. And I wasn't very educated on music photography. I wasn't educated on photography at all. So I didn't necessarily have influences at first. But the music photographer where I was like, wow, that's a job. Her name's Britt O'Brien. And she eventually became an influence once I found her on Instagram and saw what all she did in order to become a music photographer. So that honestly, she was like my very first music photographer that I ever looked at and was curious to know, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And then, I mean, as I've gotten older and more into it, I am constantly seeking the people that have done this for over 40 years versus people that have done it for a few years. And I just love the range of like how much music photography has grown. And it's interesting in a world of social media where there are a lot of photographers that do it for social media, and there are a lot of photographers that have just simply been doing it. So I like to find a happy balance. And I've always shot film, which is, I think, kept me more on the technical side of what it is that I'm looking for. And then I learned digital, which was fun. But I recently went to the Beatles exhibit at the Frist. Did you go to that?
No.
Oh, it was really awesome. It was basically, there were other photographs taken by other photographers there, but it was mostly Paul McCartney. They were all gifted these film cameras very, very early on, like right before they blew up. And he took a lot of photos of just those in-between moments right before they got really big, and that was crazy to
Wow.
see. Because what I loved about it being through the eyes of Paul, and I love the other pictures as well by the professional photographers. But I think what I love so much about photography is that like truly anyone can do it if you can like figure out the camera. I love the like for Paul, he wasn't a photographer. He is, but initially it was just, oh, we have this thing to capture our memories. And because of that, the photograph may have not been perfectly composed or it wasn't perfect. That's what I loved about photography is it didn't have to be perfect. And I think a lot of the social media type stuff now that we see a lot is people really want to be perfect with it. And I get it. It's hard to not be a perfectionist with it. But I think what I loved about starting out with my journey is I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I wanted to capture the memory in a certain way. And that is kind of what developed my vision because I was going off of what I just felt in the moment. And I didn't worry about, no, of course, I look back and there were some pretty awful photographs. It's like, why did I do it that way? But it doesn't matter to me because that's part of the journey of it. And that's what I really liked about Paul's photographs is some of them were gorgeous, and I don't even think he realized like how gorgeous it is now.
Yeah.
But I love just this is life, and it was captured in that moment.
Those slice of life photos.
Feels so authentic
Yeah.
and genuine.
That's cool. Are there like any movies that you're really influenced by or?
I will say a movie that really sparked the behind the scenes love of music was Almost Famous.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's a classic. I think that movie kind of made me realize that I could dream about doing this. So I was interested in music journalism when I was studying communications, but I didn't necessarily love to write. I used to love to write as a kid, but as I got older, that's just not where I found my creative expression. So coming into photography was almost my way of music journalism, but in my own, on the more visual side, which is what I didn't realize that I loved so much, was like the visual aspect of music.
Yeah, it's awesome. Are there any favorite like beginning concerts that you shot? Like when you're like getting into it, you're like, wow, this band, I brought my camera. Who were some of your favorite concerts that you shot in the beginning, I guess?
I remember being inspired by Magdalena Bay whenever, what year was that? Maybe 2022? I really liked those visuals. They had like kind of holographic visuals in the background, and the lead singer was wearing like this bunny mask. It was cool. I remember I really liked those photos and just visually what they were doing at the time, and which of course now I really like their visuals. They've really gotten locked into that. I just love a show that isn't just we showed up and we're playing. I love that as well. But I really love when people have that attention to detail. And it can be something so small and very low budget. But I just really appreciate when people kind of step into the visual world of it, even if they are a smaller band. I'm trying to think of other shows. I mean, I loved Hippo Campus, and they didn't necessarily do anything visually crazy, but their energy was very easy to capture because their shows were just so energetic and they interact with the crowd and each other. There were a lot of great moments to capture. So I love their live set because they're really in it. And that's what I like to capture. You don't always need the visuals. Yeah, they have the best energy live.
Interesting.
Awesome.
What kind of music is it?
It's like alt rock, though recently I feel like they've kind of dipped in a little more like pop rock, I guess.
Nice.
But they kind of started out as like a 4-piece band, and they just rock and roll in their garage kind of thing. It's cool to see their albums as they've progressed get a little more experimental. But yeah, their live shows is really what got me into everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing like when you were in Lipscomb or in high school, you didn't really do too much photography, or I guess in Lipscomb you got into it.
Yeah. It's funny because I look back on some of the photographs and stuff that I've gotten, and at the time I didn't really think about it. And then I look at it now and I was onto something. I was bound to get there and have that awakening because I've always shot lifestyle photography, capturing memories with friends and people. So I look back on that kind of stuff and I've always been doing it. I just didn't necessarily know that. So I've always just been influenced by life around me. I didn't necessarily think I would be doing this. But then as time went on and I started to get hired for gigs and portrait sessions and that kind of stuff, that made me realize how much I really liked doing this and that other people trusted my vision enough to bring it into what they were doing, which I then became inspired by. I'm incredibly inspired by musicians and music and just the world of music. I've dipped into photography outside of music, but it's not necessarily what I wake up, I need to do this. I really love working with musicians, and I've always loved music and the behind the scenes of music and the whole world that people create with albums and just the vision of it all, everything, live show, albums. I love tour documentaries, music documentaries, like just the world of music and how it comes to be is my favorite art form.
Yeah.
So I like to be on the visual side of capturing that.
That's awesome. Who are some like your favorite artists of all time?
All time? I always have a tough time with this question, but I love Doechii. I wouldn't say that she's necessarily my number one all-time favorite, but I think that she is and always has been very locked into her own world, and the way that she's grown as an artist, it's just very mind-boggling to me, and I really love to see it. And I would love to work with someone like that because she is so sure of her own brand.
Yeah.
And I love that. I also love Sade. She's an all-time favorite for sure. No, she kind of hides and she's not out in the limelight like that. And I also respect that a lot. I love the scale of being a musician. You can be so incredibly gifted, but you don't want to be famous and you don't want to be in the spotlight always. So I appreciate that about Sade. But I haven't seen her live because she doesn't really perform live anymore, at least. So there's always that part of me that loves artists like that because
mysterious.
Yeah, it's very mysterious, and I don't know what she's up to or if she will release any music again. I don't know. I think that is incredibly legendary of her. But I would love to see her live. Her voice is just insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you spell Sade?
Sade.
S-A-D.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Yes.
Now I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
I think I've been calling him Sade.
And that's fair. That is so fair. It's how it looks.
But there's probably like a mark over the E.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's Sade.
Oh, okay.
Sade, I do.
That's cool. I've listened to her.
Yeah.
But I didn't know.
You definitely know her songs.
Yeah.
People don't realize that it's Sade, but you know her songs.
How long has she been around? Or like?
I think probably since the 70s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Definitely.
Maybe even earlier than that, and I maybe fact check me on that one.
That's awesome.
But yeah, she has more of a like 70s, 80s sound.
Yeah. I'm thinking of one of her songs now. It's like There's like aquatic vibes to it.
Yeah. Yes. It does kind of feel like you're swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very sensual in a lot of ways.
Yes. Yeah, I love R&B a lot. Usually that's what I go to when I'm listening and just wanting to chill. And she kind of dips like onto the jazzier side, which is fine, which makes her live performance. You should look up live performance clips. She just knows how to hold a room. Everyone is silent because she is just that captivating. It's crazy. And I have to see her live.
Wow.
She's beautiful. Also, she's gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would be like a dream, if you go back in any time period, what would be like a dream band or artist to capture on film, dead or alive?
I grew up on Tom Petty. So I would say Tom Petty, to be honest, because he was one of the first artists I remember listening to, like just ever. My dad really loved Tom Petty. And I don't necessarily listen to rock like that as much anymore. I think probably because my dad loved rock and I didn't necessarily want to listen to what he listened to. I've always been inspired by pop music and especially early 2000s pop. Like I love Destiny's Child and Missy Elliott, Alicia Keys. Ooh, Alicia Keys is another all-time, for sure. I love her. Yeah, I would say Tom Petty for all-time, mainly because that's just who I grew up on. I got to see him once when I was a kid. He was my first concert. But I didn't get to see him after that. And I wish I had, especially now that I'm older. Every time I listen to him, it just reminds me of going out on the lake and family. And so I would love to capture him on film because I just know it would be really special for me.
Yeah.
But I also would love to take pictures of Sade as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but she's still alive. I think it would have been incredible to capture Prince.
Oh, yeah, Prince.
That would have been, I would say that would be another, if I could photograph anyone.
Who do you like more, Prince or Michael Jackson?
I can't say. Probably Prince.
Yeah.
Like, of course, Michael is a legend, but Prince was...
He has the edge.
Yeah, I would say Prince.
I feel like he's a little bit more provocative in musical settings.
Yeah.
He takes liberties and pushes the envelope a little bit.
Yeah. I would have to say Prince. I might even have to put Prince at the top for who could I have photographed. Because I love Tom Petty, but my heart isn't in rock music like that.
Right.
My heart has a bigger space for more on the pop side.
I mean, Prince's theatrics,
Yes.
his dance moves.
Yeah.
And the way he would like dance with the microphone is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen Purple Rain?
No, actually.
It's a great movie.
I need to get more into classic movies and documentaries like that. Because there's just so much.
Do you like to watch movies?
I do, yeah. Depending.
Yeah.
I'm a little picky with my movies. Because there are a lot of classics I haven't seen. I've never seen The Godfather.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen, this is crazy, Lord of the Rings. I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
I don't know why. I think I've never seen Harry Potter either.
Oh, yeah. That's fine.
They're just, I think when a movie is a little too long.
Yeah.
I say that, and my favorite movie of all time is Interstellar.
Oh, really? I still haven't seen that.
It's amazing.
But every time I'm about to watch it, it's like 10 or 11. It's, this movie's 3 hours long.
It's long, and I think it's incredibly important to watch it all in one sitting.
Yeah.
Because if you break it up, you're going to lose what's happening. Yeah. But once you watch it once, all the way through, you have to watch it again, and then one more time. You have to.
Okay, confirmed that I definitely need to watch it.
It is incredible. I think in another life, I would have loved to study more like astrophysics and that kind of stuff. It's cool, but I'm a little too deep on the creative side of my life. There's no way I could ever do anything more analytical.
Yeah,
I have to be creative,
right.
but in another lifetime.
Sure. So we kind of talked about this earlier, but like, what initially drew you to photography and film, and what would you say keeps you passionate about it? Going to shows, I guess.
Yeah, music, live music especially. I love concerts. It's always been one of my favorite things just about life is getting to go to a live show, a concert specifically.
Very primal.
Yeah. I think what I love about it is we're all gathered here to see those people on a stage. We all feel something. Even if you're going to a concert, you have no idea who's even playing. Your friend got you a ticket or whatever, or you got free tickets. You still showed up, and there's still this energy in the room that even if you've never listened to this person or this band or whatever, you feel that energy. There's just something so, I don't even know how to, I know there's a word for it too. Like the feeling of everyone gathering together and feeling this shared feeling about this thing that is happening or this event. And you forget what time it is. You forget even what is even happening outside of this room. It doesn't matter because you're all here and you all feel something that you don't feel when you're in the car, that you don't feel when you're at work. It is its own feeling, not to mention the music aspect of it and the theatrics of a live show and all the imperfections of a live show, or even seeing your favorite band in real life right there and they're just doing their thing. I think it's awesome. Just the shared energy of that many people in a room appreciating this art form is unbeatable, I think. I think that's what keeps me inspired is it's always the crowd. And it's always, even if it's a dead room, the people that showed up have this feeling towards what's happening. And it's so magnetic. I just love to be a part of it. I love to see the behind the scenes moments leading up to that and how bands feed off of the crowd's energy towards them. I think I don't know. I love people, and I love when people are doing people things. And I love when people show up to dance. I love when people are even still there with their arms crossed and maybe they don't look like they're having a good time, but they have to be enjoying it if they're still there. I think the whole spectrum of how you interpret music or how you listen to it is just awesome. I don't know. So it's always the people
Definitely.
that I love and the music as well. But it's just that shared feeling together. It keeps me coming back.
Definitely.
I love capturing a live show because that energy is always there, from 5 people in the room to 100,000 people in the room.
Yeah.
There's a love for the music happening or just music in general. And I think music is one of the most important things that we are so blessed with as human beings. The fact that we get to experience music is really awesome.
Thank God for recording and that technology we could capture sound.
Yeah.
Instead of just always having to play it.
Yeah.
Or having someone who can play the piano. Like you'll get back like old films and it's like, or even Western times, there's someone playing the piano in the bar or the saloon, and that's the only source of music.
Yeah.
There's no recording.
That's another thing too, is I love music is what it is when you're listening to it on vinyl or on the radio or whatever, but playing it live and seeing it live and hearing it live is a completely different ballpark.
Definitely.
And when a band can take their music to another level live, I mean, there's just nothing like it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember going to Bonnaroo 2014, and I hadn't really listened to that much Kanye, but I remember seeing Kanye live in 2014. There was like 80,000 people in the crowd.
Wow.
And like, this is right after Yeezus had just come out, and I didn't know any of the songs or the lyrics or whatever, but it was just insane to hear 80,000 people. Like when he starts rapping, everyone's like right on time with him. It was like very like almost religious experience.
Yeah.
And he's wearing this like chainmail mask, and there's like blood red lights, and he's like dancing, and I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
And everyone was just like da 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 da, like right on time with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't been to any. I've seen tons of concerts at Bonnaroo. I've been to 7 Bonnaroos, and I was just like, man, to see everyone in the crowd like right on time with every lyric that he's speaking was insane.
Yeah. It's just crazy, especially when you get to witness someone that you've never listened to before and you didn't know that they have that impact or whatever, and then you see it and it's like, oh my gosh. Even if I don't listen to this on my own, I want to know like what is drawing that many people to that. I just think the impact music has is just insane.
Yeah.
There aren't many art forms that do it like that. There are, but it's incredible, especially at music festivals.
Definitely.
Gosh.
I love, like when I used to go to Bonnaroo, I love just walking around and like, wow, this sounds cool. I don't even know what band this is.
Yeah.
And you go up and they're like, wow, this is awesome. And you just discover new music.
Yeah. And you see people just hanging out and vibing,
And
dancing.
it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
You know, the visuals, the sounds, the smells. I love smelling weed in the air.
Yep. It gets
Especially
all
when
the
it's
senses
outside.
going.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I love festivals for that reason, is you're so fully immersed
Yeah.
in every single way possible.
And if you're sitting in the grass and you're feeling the grass, it's everything. If you're eating, then it's every sense.
Yeah. And I've never been to another music festival outside of Bonnaroo, which I would love to, but Bonnaroo is really special.
Definitely.
It just gives me a very, very small image of maybe what Woodstock was like.
Yeah, I love when you're walking in Centeroo, and there's like 10,000 people trying to get in Centeroo, and one person yells Bonnaroo, and then it's like all 10,000 voices are like, "Pah!"
Yeah.
And it's like everyone's
And the
super
high-fiving
hyped.
each other.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, the community with music it's just beautiful.
What Bonnaroos have you been to?
My first one was, I think it was probably 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. I had always wanted to go to Bonnaroo, but I didn't want to go by myself. And then that year, I had a couple friends that told me about the volunteer program.
Oh, yeah.
And because, I mean, it's crazy now because Bonnaroo was way more affordable at that time than it is now. But at the time, I just couldn't afford to go to a music festival. So the volunteer program was nice because I got to go and do some work, but I get to experience it for free. And that was incredible because it was cool to see the behind the scenes of everything and be part of the production of it all, but on a very small scale. And I got to experience the festival itself. That was awesome. And I so wish I had known about it the several years leading up to that, like when Tom Petty was there.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been incredible
It
to
was
go to.
2013. I
Yeah.
was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, rest in peace.
Right. My first Bonnaroo was 2010, and I did Clean Vibes, the post-show
Really?
cleanup.
Yeah.
And
That's what I did
I
the
got
first
to go
time.
for free. You did the post-show cleanup, where you clean up the fields?
I did the during show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I did Clean Vibes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I remember that. Like, they were like, it extends your Bonnaroo vacation by like 2 days.
Yes.
So everyone's still partying and everyone's still in their campsites.
Yep.
But then you go clean up the fields and you find a lot of very interesting things.
Yeah. What's the coolest thing that you got to keep?
I don't know. That's a great question. Obviously, you find a bunch of bowls, pieces, bongs. One of the strangest things I ever saw was a syringe, and I picked up the syringe and put it in a plastic bottle and then closed it up and then threw it away. But that was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But then you find mushrooms, all kinds of stuff like that, which was cool.
Yeah.
But I would say, actually, no, I found a pretty cool cot that I took home.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were gonna say anything about like a cool tent.
Yeah, there were some tents, but I was like, yeah, I don't know about the tent, but there were these cots that were left behind, and they were for like VIP or something. And I was like, man, these are pretty nice cots.
Yeah.
And I took one home. But other than that, I mean, it was just finding random things, weird stuff. But I mean, they would make you walk in a line, and even if there was a cigarette butt, you had to make that up. So
I love festivals, and even getting to work it like that or be part of like Clean Vibes, how they were intentionally composting and going through every single bag in composting. I think that is just the least that a festival could do, considering how many people gather and party and don't really have a care in the world of what happens with their trash or stuff. I mean, also a lot of people travel from out of town, fly in, and they can't carry all that stuff back. So I at least appreciate the fact that they do try to recycle and compost and clean up, because it's beautiful farmland that it's happening on.
right.
So I really enjoyed getting to go to the festival and also being a part of that, because it made me see the festival in a different way.
What were some of the cool things you found?
I've always done pre-show and during show. I've never done the after show stuff. So I don't know that I have necessarily found anything cool and kept.
Yeah.
The last time I was there a couple of years ago, I had a bunch of people give me edibles and random things,
Oh, yeah.
which I didn't take everything.
Got to be careful with the edibles.
Yeah.
Concerts. They're
I
like,
know.
are you coming out to center rooms? Like, dude, I got to wait here for 5 hours.
Let me just try and sleep this off in the middle of the day when it's hot. Yeah, the community and the people there, always looking out for each other. That will never get old. I do miss Bonner though, and I hate that it's been taken over by Live Nation.
Yeah, it's a different animal now.
It is. And I would like to go back for sure, but I don't know that I will pay for a ticket.
Yeah, it's kind of exorbitant now. What is it, like $500 a ticket?
Probably even more than that.
I remember when I first went, it was like $250 for a ticket.
Yeah. And now, I mean, the problem is them upcharging for everything else.
Sure.
You know.
You need a parking camp pass that costs extra. Yeah.
You have to pay for showers that's out of a trailer.
Right.
So you're paying like 10 or $15 for a shower.
Right.
Which is crazy. Let me just get a bottle of water or a jug of water and I'll wash myself that way.
Well, the trick was you go to the sinks and then you bring like a cup and then you just douse yourself.
Yeah.
That way, I would always wash myself in the sinks because it's free.
Yeah. Free 99.
Yeah. I was like,
and they upcharge for food.
Definitely.
And like, now you've taken the fun out of it. Now it's just you're trying to get as much money out of people as possible, which is just
gorging people.
Yeah. I hate that. So no, I will not be buying a ticket.
Yeah.
Unless it's literally the most stacked lineup I've ever seen in my life and I have to be there. But the way that the festival circuits go nowadays, here are the 10 artists that you're going to see at every single festival because they're in the festival circuit. And maybe sometimes we'll sprinkle in people that are up and coming or like just a really cool act that maybe is not for the money aspect of it, but I feel like it's pretty obvious that they're going for what sells.
Definitely.
Which I get it to a certain extent, but I also don't, because Bonner has never been for that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's crazy to see the evolution of it because back in the very beginning of it, it was like only jam bands.
Yeah.
And then it eventually got bought by MTV and then it changed and now it's owned by Live Nation.
Yeah.
Because like when I remember in 2010, like Jay-Z was the headliner. I'm pretty sure
That's cool.
Alicia Keys played with him and they did Empire State of Mind.
Yeah. I bet that was awesome.
Yeah, dude. I was right in the pit,
Oh, really?
right up against it. The huge, I mean, I probably lost hearing at that show because I was right in
Yeah.
front of the big chain of speakers.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I will always love music festivals, regardless of what they're doing now and trying to make a bunch of money and stuff. If I can go, I will absolutely have the time of my life.
Definitely. It still brings people together, and I think that's one
Yeah.
of the most important things.
Yeah. And that thankfully will never change. The fact that there are that many people there for music
Right.
will always be there, which is nice.
Cool. Okay, great. So, how do you develop your artistic skills? Do you have for photography and film? Do you have like routines, or how do you get better at your craft?
A lot of YouTube videos and honestly watching shows and films and stuff, because now that I've learned more about what it is that I'm doing, I'm able to watch movies and, oh, that's a really interesting concept, or it's an interesting way to capture that scene or that emotion. So I'm always just I always have my brain on for these moments and these things that maybe I wouldn't have noticed initially, but now I'm kind of always looking for inspiration in just life and being out and about and looking at people crossing the street a different way, or people waiting in line for something, or like just very normal things that people do. But thinking about, if I were to capture that moment and portraying this feeling, what would I do? I almost kind of see it as like a little mini game of how would I capture that. And it's just something very simple. So I think doing that exercises my brain, because there's just so much life around us. And a lot of these movies and shows often capture daily life. Some capture in a way that feels very natural, and some it feels very Hollywood. Yeah, I would say honestly, existing and going out and about and just intentionally thinking about how would I do this, or what feeling is that giving, and how could I portray that in a way that other people feel that as well when watching it. I do a lot of things based on just emotions, and I love the technical side of photography and videography. It's incredibly important. But I think if the feeling isn't there, then it's not going to translate visually. So I'm always just kind of trying to feel that, and then I can think about how I would compose that in a certain way, or how I would try to capture that feeling doing this certain effect. So yeah, a lot of YouTube videos and just going out and thinking about it and intentionally looking around, and how do, even like right now, how you're writing a certain way, like, and the coffee cup is here, like it's just natural, it's not scripted, it's just is what it is. But there's always the shot, but because I haven't directed you to do anything, it just is what it is.
Natural.
Yeah. And so I always try to think of how to keep that same feeling in a way where if I were scripting you to write, or directing you to do this certain thing, how can I maintain this exact thing in that? So that's why I like to go out and just see life as it is. It makes me a better director, because I'm able to, I've studied this scenario before on what this person did when they were checking out at the grocery or something. I'll take note of, okay, they do this, and I don't know how to specifically describe it, but it is just always something that I keep in mind and keep in the back of my head for when I'm needing to direct that kind of emotion or that scenario. Because, especially with other people, a lot of photography and videography is of other people in some way. And a lot of people don't know how to act in front of a camera. The way that I direct, I don't want you to act. I want you to just pretend that none of this is here. And I know that that is acting, but it's about trying to describe that emotion rather than do this.
Yeah.
So a lot of going out in life and just looking around is people just doing it. And I'm back here trying to study and observe how they did that. That way I know how to describe it, yeah, to someone that is doing that certain thing. And same thing with like post photos and stuff. And a lot of musicians don't really know how to pose for photos. And I totally understand. I don't either. When I'm in front of the camera, I don't know what to do. But because I'm sitting back here behind the camera and studying, I'm able to tell someone, pretend that you are going down to tie your shoelace. And in that moment, if I wanted to capture like a falling feeling or something of that nature, I'm not telling them my every single move of how I'm going to capture that moment. I'd rather you just do the thing and I will get the moment when I need it. But not telling the person exactly when that moment is and they're not overthinking it. I don't know how to, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I keep myself motivated, is just quietly observing the everyday actions that people do. And even with like specific poses and things, there's always a way to naturally get that without it feeling so scripted. And I think that those are the best moments to capture when it is scripted, but you wouldn't know that. That's usually, yeah, that's what I try to portray, because especially in live shows, there is a performance aspect and you are a little more aware of your facial expressions. And like if you miss a chord and you don't want to go like that, you got to just keep playing. Otherwise, nobody will know that even happened. And well, I try to come in certain ways of like, you almost don't even know that I was there, but it was captured. That's how I like to move.
What TV shows have you been influenced by or been like, wow, that scene right there seems really natural, that's inspired you?
TV shows are a tough one sometimes because I feel like movies can sometimes feel more natural. TV shows, not as much. Right now, I'm watching The Pit. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a medical show. It's like about hospitals. And there's a very distinct difference between Grey's Anatomy, which is incredibly scripted and like all the movements and the line. I like Grey's Anatomy. It's fine. There's a very huge difference between that and The Pit. The Pit feels like I'm in a hospital and I'm watching this in real time. And Grey's Anatomy feels like a scripted show. And it's not that visually or anything that The Pit is anything crazy, but it's just the fact that it feels like I'm in the hospital and these are my doctors and I'm the patient. I like stuff like that. Even if it's not visually the most captivating thing in the world, I feel like I'm there. And I think that is one of the most important things, depending on what genre or what it is that you're doing. But I think that is the kind of stuff that we all naturally gravitate towards because it's life and we all experience these certain aspects of life. And when something is scripted and it's beautiful, like that's amazing, but it feels there's almost a disconnect. And that is important. And we have to have those things as well in media because not everything is going to be directly connected to us as humans. But there's nothing better than watching something and it's almost as if you're there.
Yeah.
That will never get old. And it will always be important in media, is the stuff that feels like we're there, because we are humans and we want to see what humans experience, because some of us may never go to a hospital. Or The Last of Us.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
sure.
I actually hadn't watched that show before, and like a month ago I started it and I binged it quickly.
Yeah.
And it made me feel as if I was there. And it was also beautifully shot as well. But I just find that stuff to be so interesting. The fact that there was a team behind putting something together like that to where it feels so real, but that's never happened. I find that stuff to be so interesting.
Yeah, we haven't had a zombie apocalypse. It's
Yeah.
like capturing it would feel like no one would know what that would be like.
Yeah, and like space movies is why I love Interstellar so much, is we've not experienced most of the things that happen in that movie, but I feel like I did because I watched it and I took it in. And I think movies like that are just, it's mind blowing to me, because it is scripted and those are actors and none of this was real, but it feels real.
Yeah.
It feels like it happened. It feels like those are the people that experienced it and I'm watching it. I just think that capturing that emotion is crazy. It's mind boggling to me. And so that's why I like to go out in life and try and take note of things, because that is life. And being able to portray that on camera is like such an interesting concept. It's always just, I can't wrap my head around it sometimes. But that's why I try to capture emotion, because we all feel things. Whether you watch TV or movies or not, you can still feel something from it.
Definitely. It's probably why I like documentaries so much,
Yeah,
because this is
it's
people
real.
when they're one of my favorite documentaries. It's like there's two of them. One of them is called Restrepo, and the second one is called Korengal. And this photographer, this film guy, went up to this outpost in Afghanistan and just filmed these soldiers during war. And you can see the fear on their face. You can see like bullets flying by. It's like no one's acting here.
Yeah.
Like this is actually happening. And like someone like dies, unfortunately, and then they tell another soldier and he like has a breakdown, and they're like, we gotta go, like we have to go back to war, like fight. We can't be thinking about this right now. And they have to like calm him down. And it's like, wow, this is all for real. Like,
Yeah.
and it was like they're interacting with locals, trying to find out where the Taliban are, and just seeing these people in their natural habitat on their farms, and then there's war happening. It's just like, it's wild.
It
And to
is.
see them like shooting their guns, and then they talk about, wow, we just got out of a firefight, and they talk about what it was like to be shot at, and they're like, man, there's no drug like it, man. Once you've been shot at and it doesn't kill you, it's like you just feel like you cheated death.
Yeah.
Like the adrenaline rush is insane. It's like when I go back to normal life, I don't know how I'm going to cope or how I'm going to be able to experience normal life after I've been through all this.
Yeah.
And there's just a dude with like, you just can't, like, he's not a soldier and he's just filming all of this. And it's like, but he's in it too. I mean, if they get killed, he's going to get killed too. And it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, like, I couldn't even imagine being in that scenario. And I feel like I'm there. Like, I can experience the soldiers, their emotions, how scared they are, like everything.
Yeah. I recently watched my documentary. I can't think of what it's called, but I'll have to look it up and show you. But it was about the Vietnam War, and how there were photographers with Associated Press there, and there were stringers, is what they were called, and they were local photographers that were capturing war. And maybe the press would buy a photo or two from them. But anyway, so there were like American photographers and Vietnamese photographers all there just existing and capturing the war. And there was a moment when a bomb hit an area and these children were naked running down the street in just absolute fear. And it's so sad. It's a really heavy documentary. But the documentary is about how one of the stringers got a famous photograph that ended up winning awards, but the press was like bought the photo, and this other person claimed that photograph, and that person got all these awards in America and all of this stuff. And it didn't come out until this documentary when there were suspicions. Someone working at the press at the time later on was like, hey, so that person didn't actually take that photograph. And so they did a bunch of investigating, and they ended up finding the guy who took the photograph, not to spoil it, but they ended up finding the guy who took the photograph through his daughter. And he was just so emotional because he was like, I didn't think anyone would ever find that out. And I didn't think anyone would ever know that that was me. And he quietly just sat in his home and never received that recognition for this award-winning photograph. And it's a very moving documentary, but I'll have to show it to you.
Was he relieved or like?
Yeah. It's not like
I don't know if he didn't care.
He was incredibly humble.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
He could have been way more upset and furious about it, but he was just happy to even see that anyone cared enough to know who originally took the photograph. And it made me weep. It was crazy. That's a really good documentary, and also just sad because the guy that claims the photograph refused any interviews. I took that picture. Wow. And because you have film proofs from that time, and they have these scans, and they know who took that. But it's a beautiful documentary, and maybe he doesn't get the justice of receiving those awards, but the fact that someone sought to find him, and they did, and they got to talk about his time doing that, and it's a very moving story.
Oh, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
My dad fought in Vietnam, so I try to understand his point of view, because one of the most unpopular wars.
Yeah.
And it's like when he came back from Vietnam, everyone was calling him baby killer, and he had all this depression. It was like he was drafted. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
But it is a very interesting thing to study. So can you walk us through your creative process from conceptualization to a final image for video, like for a shoot or whatever?
So usually I will, if the artist has inspirations or of any kind, I like the way this person is posed, I like the way this was shot, I like the color in this, or anything if they do have inspirations or something that they are kind of referring to, I like to receive those and maybe why they like certain things. That can help me figure out what tools I need to get that. So for instance, with a music video, I did a music video recently with Book, not Brooke. Do you know Book?
Yeah.
She's incredible. But she had this music video idea and sent me an inspiration and a couple different images of just color and general direction. And that gives me a feel, and as well as the song, that gives me a feel for, okay, how can I best portray this emotion? And then I can figure out the composition and the lighting and the color and those technicalities that they don't have to sit there and figure that out. That's kind of where I come in. And she sent me this video, Mistress Violet, and it was filmed on like an old news camcorder where you can do like quick zoom ins and zoom outs, and there's like almost a film look to it because it was VHS, and we had a low budget and a dream. So we just got together in the studio, and a main direction that we had, because she wrote up a shot list and like general ideas that she would want to try and tackle in this video. A recurring theme was kind of like a ventriloquist type doll. So like there was one shot that we did with a light under here, nothing else. And so it's illuminating her face, but almost in like a doll, shadowy kind of way. So it looks like a doll face. And like we kept her facial movements still and mouthing the words and like kind of imitating a doll in a way if it were to move. So I'll spend some time trying to sit down and think like, okay, how can we portray this specific feeling while remaining original? And I like to look at inspirations, but I don't want to look too much to other things because I don't want to copy. I want it to be like this truly came from our brains, which is hard because nowadays so many things have already been done. And there's nothing wrong with this camera person did this specific thing in order to get that movement. That happens all the time. It's just what you do with it and how you can make it original. And I try to take note of the techniques and the certain things, but I don't want to copy specifically this exact shot because there are ways to originally do it. So yeah, I listen to the songs a lot, and especially when I'm editing photos or getting into the headspace, I have to listen to the song just over and over and over and over and over until something like colors and themes and things pop up in my brain, and then I know to keep that during the shoot. Like, oh, this person in this song, it gives like a very violet color and maybe like pulsing violet or something like that. Then I'll know how to get the emotion when I'm directing the person to do this certain thing that kind of gives that color. Doesn't mean necessarily it's going to end up more violet tones. It's just the emotion of that color.
Yeah.
A lot of just sitting and stewing and just trying to figure out how to originally get these colors and words and thoughts out onto a picture or into a video. And it helps when the artist also has these certain things in mind. It helps me because they know their music better than anyone. Yeah, I don't necessarily have the exact same process every single time. I just go off of what I'm feeling and what they're feeling. And I do prep beforehand. I kind of map out what I need to do, but I do a lot of it in real time of just trying to figure out what makes the most sense and bouncing it off of each other and getting to that spot. Valerie's and we have been working together for a while, and we've been doing a lot of video stuff. And we work really well together because she generally knows what she wants to see and what kind of emotion and camera movement we can do. And it's just a lot of us just bouncing ideas off of each other, like, ooh, let's try this. Because we may go into a shot thinking that we wanted to do that, but we actually want to do this instead, because it makes more sense. So it's a lot of feeling the environment, and my brain just goes like on 200% when I'm actually shooting. That's normally where the ideas really flourish and show up. I can plan ahead of time, but I have to be in it.
Kind of get into a flow state.
Yeah. That's normally when I get my best stuff. A lot of my favorite stuff was on accident. And that goes back to what I was saying with like the Paul McCartney photographs is I don't even think he realized like how impactful initially, how impactful that shot was going to be. And I think there is a lot to come from that. Like you don't think about how incredible that was until after the fact. And it was just a spur of the moment idea or something that neither person had planned on doing. And that usually ends up being the favorite. So I try to leave a lot of room for that to happen because the possibilities and the ideas that come from that just openness and basically this is my creative playground is normally where I get my favorite stuff and the artists as well. So I do a little bit of prep to have a general idea, but when it comes time to the shoot, it's an open road. I know what car I showed up in, and I know generally what destination I'm trying to get to, but literally anything can happen in between there and the end of the road.
Yeah.
So I try to leave that open because when I'm in it, I get my favorite ideas then. And I hadn't even thought of that before.
That's awesome. So, how would you say, from a technical standpoint, how you approach lighting, composition, and other elements?
Right now, I feel like I am studying lighting more because initially getting into it, I studied composition and then got a little more into the color world and how to, with the way that a lot of things are nowadays with videographers, you're doing a lot of it yourself. So you kind of have to figure out all the different elements. And one day I would love to have a crew, a lighting person, and a person for this, and a person for this, and a person for this. But right now I'm just trying to figure out a little bit of everything. And within the past year, I've realized how important lighting is. And it can truly make or break something you thought it looked great before, but then you adjust the lighting in a certain way and it makes it look incredible. You would have never thought. And same thing with like live concerts and stuff. That's what I started to tap into was how lighting is so important for a live show. And it doesn't even have to be anything crazy. It can really elevate and take it up a notch. And you wouldn't have even thought about that. So right now I'm kind of studying lighting more and trying to understand how it works and how a light coming from the top and coming from the bottom side gives a very specific emotion as opposed to a light just straight on. It adds depth, it adds emotion, it hides things in the shadows, it exposes the shadows depending on what you're wanting the eye to focus on. So lighting has been a very interesting thing to explore because there's a million ways that you could do it. And I've found that to be really interesting. And I love, with photography, I love flash. I love street photography style where it's like a quick pop and maybe you have an off-camera flash over here and the camera's here. And then when it captures that moment, it feels like you were a little bug flying right in front of them and you happen to look up at that moment because the light in the camera over here, it feels just so quick.
Wow.
I don't know. I love street photography for that reason because it happens so quickly that the person may not even acknowledge the fact that it happened. And I love those kinds of moments a lot in those photographs with high flash and almost kind of like an off-kiltered photograph, but it captured that emotion. I like flash a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, so lighting has been an interesting thing to explore. And color too. I mean, I didn't realize how technical coloring videos and stuff, like photographs, coloring photographs is one thing and coloring video is a whole different thing because the colors really matter in both. But if your lighting wasn't good, it's hard to color what isn't there. So it's all kind of, it all works together. The composition absolutely matters, but if you don't have the right lighting happening and the right colors, what does it matter? Like, those things are just as important as composing the image itself. And I think that's something I've learned the past couple years, how important each element is to really make every single aspect of the image pop, whether it's photo or video. All of that matters. And if you strip away the lighting and do very minimal color, if that's your vibe, great. But there's a lot of emotion lost there. But I feel like I've also, this past year, grown to appreciate black and white as well. There's something so classic about it. And the lighting and the contrast really matters with black and white. And it can speak just as much as colors can, which is really cool.
You can almost see the colors through the black and white.
Yeah. And it makes you wonder. I keep bringing up this Paul McCartney exhibit. It was really cool. But they had shot in black and white, and then they took a trip to Florida, I think, and they did a roll of color for that trip. And seeing all of these images in black and white, and then all of a sudden you go down this hallway and it was all the colored photographs. It was like, wow, you forget how much color there is in life. And that was really cool to see, because the black and white told one story, but the colors told another story. It was really interesting to only see black and white images and then all of a sudden color. These people that you didn't think, like, you just couldn't imagine what they looked like in color after having seen it in black and white.
Wow.
And it makes you just grow to appreciate, like, I mean, life has always been color.
Right.
But black and white, to be able to master black and white is really cool, because that's like a completely different way of seeing life, which is really cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So talking about like your equipment here, what kind of equipment do you use and how has technology influenced your work?
So I love to shoot film, and summer of 2024 is when I started a tour, and that's when I realized I should probably learn digital stuff as well, because of just quickness of how people want things. And film can be, it's awesome, but when you're on the road, it can be testy, depending. So I love to shoot film, and I prefer to shoot film, but digital I've really grown to enjoy as well, because you can do so many different things that film can't, even though film can do a lot of things that digital can't. And I kind of like blending the lines of, you can't fully make digital look like film, and you can't make film fully look like digital, but finding kind of that in between of, wow, that's a film photograph, but it was like shot or interpreted in a way of maybe a digital photograph, and vice versa. I like kind of finding that line, because film is and always will be the superior of capturing, because it is what it is. You can manipulate it to a certain point, but you can't. And I do like digital for the aspect of, you can manipulate it to look how you want and do your flash a certain way and edit the background a certain way. But I really love film because it is just, that's just how it is. That's how it looks. You can change a little bit, but then you're getting into the messing up the image quality, so you really can't. So I've grown to love both, and especially since getting into video stuff, I really like digital for that, and I have now been more inspired to make like short films. And when I went on my trip to Japan, I really challenged myself in taking lifestyle video, which I hadn't really done before. And I brought just one manual cine lens, and it forced me to use the lighting and the environment and composing it correctly in order to make it look better in post-production. So I really had to use my brain and perfectly do it in that moment. And I feel like that really helped me understand video in a lot of ways and the importance of being still with a camera versus moving around with a camera. And I like digital for the aspect of seeing it in real time like that and problem solving in real time. Like, oh, I don't like how that looks. And I can now go and try it again. Whereas film, it's like, we'll see how it looks when I get it developed, which is, I also love that. It's like Christmas.
Right.
Yeah, I love both so much. I can't ever see a world where I would do one without the other because I think both really have their perks. And with new technology and meta glasses and a bunch of like handheld GoPro type stuff, I haven't messed around with that kind of stuff. I'm not really sure that I'm interested, but I do think it's an interesting tool for sure. I just don't know that it's for me.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to see how much smaller and smaller cameras and these things are getting to make it more accessible, which is cool. I mean, a lot of people are able to film behind the scenes kind of stuff wearing meta glasses, and that's cool. Like I like to see that stuff as well. Maybe it's just not for me, but it will always be an evolving industry because there's always something new. There's always a new technique or way to do this. And like right now, even film photography, I feel like is getting more and more popular and more accessible to people, which is awesome. I'm glad we as humans always kind of go back,
Right.
oh, I didn't realize how awesome this was. And now we're bringing it back.
I feel like it's always a technology or music era from 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I like a Nintendo DS has a camera on it, and people have been like filming concerts through their DS or something like that. And I always think that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
Or like a PSP or something and filming with that. I don't know. I think I love what people gravitate towards, and so many things come and go, but it'll always come back in the camera world, I mean. And now, I mean, people love camcorders, VHS type stuff.
Mhm.
That's coming back. Of course, nowadays it gets more expensive because these things are harder to find, like VHS tapes and certain things like that used to be like $1 or something, and everywhere you could get it anywhere. And now I don't love the upcharging of, oh, this film point and shoot, now it's coming back and people are charging $200 to buy that camera when it was initially just a $30 camera. I don't love that aspect of bringing things back, but it is always interesting to see what people are interested in again. And initially it wasn't even thought about like that.
What is a Cine lens or that thing you mentioned earlier?
Oh, it's a lens more focused towards like manual. So I'm adjusting focus and aperture and everything on the lens, and is more geared towards cinema rather than just like an everyday kind of like kit lens.
So that's for video? For film?
Yeah, you can do it for photo too.
When you were overseas, said you were taking video with what camera did you use?
I have a Sony A7 III, which I got it because I wanted something that could do photo and video but have more video capabilities, but I could still use it for photo. Ideally, I would love to have a photo camera and a video camera, but it gets expensive.
Yeah.
So that was just the best option at the time for me to get for both and try out both. So yeah, I use that for all of my digital stuff, photo, video, everything. I've been getting into lenses, and there's so many different ones. It's crazy. And I actually found when I was in Japan, Joseph Petzval, he invented the first photographic portrait lens. Can't remember what year, a long time ago. And anyways, so Lomography has revamped those lenses, like the Petzval lenses. And basically, have you seen the movie Poor Things? That is a beautifully shot movie. The lenses that they used was the Petzval lenses. And essentially, the effect that it gives, the bokeh, it really separates like your foreground, the subject, and the background, and kind of gives it like a whirly kind of look. I found that lens in Japan. It's normally sold out online or almost $1,000. And I found it in Japan for incredibly cheap, which was awesome. So I got that lens.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does it specifically do, or how does it change the video or photo?
It's really great for portraits and video. It's more of a stylized look rather than an everyday kind of lens. I'm not going to use it for every project that I do, only where I feel like it applies. The style of it is just very specific. I may not use it in everything, but if I'm trying to portray that kind of emotion, that will be my go-to. I've done one video with it, with Valerie's. We did some shots with that lens, and it's also manual, which I've grown to love because it forces you to learn.
When you say manual, is that in just like photography setting, or is there a manual for video as well?
For video as well.
How does a manual video work?
Instead of doing the adjustments in your camera and like autofocus, for example, you set the focus, you set the aperture on the actual lens rather than the camera detecting how that scenario should be lit, or like all the different things that you can change about it. You are deciding how it goes rather than the camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it just forces you to know exactly what you need, because I can adjust this certain thing on my lens and the camera may suggest something else if it were an autofocus lens, or there are just so many settings that you can change. And a manual lens gives you a little more control based on what you're wearing.
I see.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, how would you best describe your unique style or approach to film and photography?
How would I describe it? Something that definitely comes up is authentic. I mean, a lot of photographs and videos are authentic, but I think kind of like how I was describing, observing life and trying to capture the emotion rather than how to technically set this shot up the best. I like to just keep it authentic, and sometimes that can mean that I missed this certain composition in the moment, but I captured the feeling. And I'm trying to think. Because I go off of my emotions, and instead of always looking through the viewfinder to find the shot, I find it with my eye and then bring my camera to where I saw it and then capture it almost immediately, because I didn't want that person to move or the lighting from the sun to change or something. And it's very quick because it's just what I saw with my own eyes. And a lot of photographers and videographers do that as well. But I think sometimes I am okay with the possibility of it not coming out perfectly composed, because I got the moment and I got the feeling that I was wanting. Yeah. I also am really inspired by like thermal type stuff. I don't do this for every project because it doesn't always fit everyone's brand, but I love to do like thermal effects to my photos. And I did this one music video for the greeting committee, and that one, they really wanted my style of the thermal type look. It almost kind of looks like highly saturated, contrast, glitch art type of work, incredibly digital looking. And they wanted me to do this video that they shot on an iPhone and make it more of that thermal work that I really like to do. And that was one of my favorite things that I've ever done because they just fully said, get as crazy as you want with it and really get into the like thermal, glitchy type work. And I always love to do that kind of style. I would say that that's something that feels a little more original to me because I just kind of mess around with the settings until it gets to where I need it to be. And I will, instead of making these minor adjustments, I'm really cranking it and like experimenting with what we typically use to edit things and making it very extreme and making it look like a little more fucked up, but it's not. I really like that style a lot. And I don't get to do it often because it's just not everyone's style for their own artistry. But when people want to come to me and use that kind of style, that's my preferred. Like I love to do that. I love to capture authentic, real images, like real color. But I love to do that kind of work as well because it's almost slightly uncomfortable, but in a way that makes you wonder how in the world did you get that?
Like when you say thermal, do you mean like heat signature? Like it picks up the heat?
It's not like a real-time thermal type camera, but I am trying to portray,
Like it almost seems like an alien type thing.
yeah, like I want it to be like the colors are pixelated, not the video itself, but like it's almost like pixelated different colors. I'll have to show you examples.
Okay.
But I really like to do that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just really love like the heat thermal look. There's a Brockhampton album cover that kind of started that, oh, I want to try something very similar to that look because it was like a thermal type of image.
Wow.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
When
I'm trying to describe it, but I have to show you.
When I think thermal, I'm thinking of like the Predator when he's looking at the other humans.
Mhm.
He sees their skin, like their heat
Yes.
signature. Is it anything like that?
Yeah, but more glitchy.
Okay.
Yeah. But same concept, same idea,
Wow.
but more manipulated than that.
You know what I'm talking about when I say Predator?
Yeah.
The movie?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like the entire image is completely glitched rather than that one subject. I really don't know how to describe it without showing you.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But yeah, I like to do that kind of work
I
sometimes.
don't know anyone that does thermal, so that's really interesting.
One day I would love to, I love to get random things that you typically wouldn't film on. Like I've done a Ring camera
Oh, really?
music video and we just like unmounted it. Actually, that was with Bennett.io.
Oh, really?
And we unmounted the camera and did different stuff with it because it has like a fisheye look to it.
I've seen people use a backup camera
Yeah.
on cars.
Yeah. I love just unconventional toy cameras that you wouldn't think to do something on it, but you can do a lot of really cool stuff with it. So I would love to get like an actual thermal detector type of thing and try and figure out somehow to film on that.
Wow. Yeah.
One day.
It seems like somewhat of an expensive technology. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Seems really scientific.
Yeah. I love to experiment with just different. Because starting out as a filmmaker and stuff, you just have to work with what you have. And that means a lot of experimenting. And that's why I love toy cameras, like little shitty $5 cameras and stuff like that, because it's unconventional, but you can still get great stuff with it. just depending on how you use it.
Right. Would you say an iPhone camera is okay?
Yeah, I mean, like for what? Just anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of people that have shot music videos on iPhones, especially the newer iPhones. You can't even tell that it's an iPhone.
Yeah.
But I think it would be fun to get like an old, like the first generation iPod Touch or something.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks terrible,
Right.
but there's almost something like really sweet about it. It just all depends on what you do with it.
Yeah. I still have an iPhone 6 over
Really?
that I use as a metronome, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's awesome.
because they were going to buy it for me for $10. And I'm like, what? This is a little
$10?
computer. It's like, this is a little computer. Like,
Yeah,
I'm keeping it.
yeah. I keep all of my technology things. I still have my GameCube and my Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that stuff over time,
Relics.
yeah. Some things, it's also just crazy how long these things can last and still turn on.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I love technology in that instance. I don't like, we have a tough relationship with technology nowadays with AI and all
Intrusive.
this. Yeah, it's maybe evolving in a way that is not awesome.
AI slop.
Yeah. But there is a lot of really cool stuff that can come with technological advances. I think maybe we've hit a point where it's a little too far with AI.
Yeah. It's getting more dystopian.
Yeah. And I hate to see that. So that's why it's important to keep
The
old technology. And I mean, even no one would have ever thought that people would be taking old broadcast news cameras and actively using that for music videos and all these different things. Like, I love like skateboard videographers with old broadcast cameras and putting like a fisheye attachment to it and filming that way. Like, that was not what it was invented for, but here it is, repurposed and being used in a really cool way. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love skateboarding videos because it's like very street type of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like capturing it and they're moving. It's like very live feeling.
Yeah. And especially now, there are so many pieces of equipment that you can use to digitize a lot of like VHS, high 8 cameras. You can digitize it in real time and then just put it on your computer. That's crazy to me.
You mean like a filter kind of thing? They can make it
Like you
VHS
can,
filter.
no, like if you use like an old, like high 8 camera and you get these certain cables and there's now like a power play type of screen and it actively records what's being recorded on the camera onto here to where you can hook that up to your computer and it's already digitized.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So technology, when it advances like that, I'm like, yes, please, because it's so expensive to get that kind of film and VHS for those cameras. And then you have to figure out, how do you digitize this?
Right.
Now it's just, you can plug up this little thing using these specific cables and then it's digitized, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate the business side of photography, like pricing and marketing, client acquisition, I guess?
That is something I'm still figuring out. Because I didn't necessarily start doing this actively as a job until summer of 2024. Before that, I had a daytime job and then I did a lot of this stuff on the side, whether I was hired out or doing it with Queezer magazine. So I did a lot of building my portfolio up until then, until I kind of dipped my toes in all the things that I wanted. And then what I really wanted to do was go on tour, which is why I quit my job. And I toured a lot that year. And then this past year, did some touring. And now I'm kind of slowing down to the point of I need to figure out how to build a business and get a website and establish pricing that makes sense for me. Because I used to do it so much on the side, I was just happy to do it. Now I'm trying to think of ways to market myself and even expand what all I can do outside of music, because I've just been a student for the past few years, trying to figure everything out. That way I can feel comfortable charging a price that makes sense for my work and makes sense for me to do as a job in order to continue creating more full-time at least. So I'm still trying to figure that part out.
What was your job before that?
I was working at an office with the IT department doing communications and a little bit of graphic design, a little bit of writing articles and building newsletters and doing that kind of stuff, which I wasn't entirely interested in, but it was what I studied in college, so I was able to do it. But I was never meant to work in an office. I was never meant to do a 9 to 5, and I knew that, and I tried it, and I knew it wasn't for me. So I just kind of kept working on the side and trying to do a bunch of shoots and tried music videos and do more portrait sessions and things outside of concerts to build that up so that I could quit this job and be able to do other things in that same creative field. So yeah, I quit that job, and I don't think I'll ever go back to an office after that. It was just not good for my brain, and I just think creatively I have a lot more to offer, and I wanted the time to be able to explore that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what would you say your strengths and weaknesses as an artist are?
Strengths, I would say I've kind of always had this creative itch to make things and to take what I have in my brain and put it into a physical form of some sort. I think I've just always kind of been exploring where that best comes out. And I tried playing music and writing and all these different things, and I enjoy it, but it's not where I felt like I had my creative expression and where I could make a living out of it. And doing visual stuff is where I thrive the most. So once I kind of was more awake to that, I have just been I've been hungry to figure out where that best applies and how I can do that. And now I'm here and realizing I need to build a business and make a career out of this, because it's what I enjoy doing and it's what I'm good at, and it's where I feel like I have something to offer in the creative world, and it also helps me just enjoy life as well, because and this is where my weaknesses come in. If I do work and I don't want to do it, I have a hard time doing it. And so the office job was really tough because I knew I didn't want to do it. And I would do the job and at least be a decent worker while I'm there. But I knew so desperately that I did not want to do this. So it was really hard for me to enjoy my days, because I spent those days wanting to do something else. And I just don't like to live like that.
Yeah.
I think life is too short.
Right.
And if I have to struggle a bit and figure out how I'm going to pay the bills, but I'm doing what I love, I would rather take that gamble any day, because the financial stability of working in an office, fine, I guess, but the emotional stability, like at a certain point, it was at what cost? I don't want to rot my days away wanting to do something else. That's just like, I am not wired that way.
Right.
So in a way, it's a weakness. I also see it as a strength, because it means that I know what I would like to be doing and I have the dreams that I want to do, and have always known that I've wanted to create a direct in some way. I just didn't know how. And the past few years, I've been figuring out how. And I've been figuring out the best way to move about it because I knew why. I knew why I wanted to do this. I knew what I was wanting to do. I can figure out the how in the process. So right now I'm figuring out how to build a business because that is part of being a creative and marketing yourself and cold emailing people with ideas and DMing people on Instagram to work together. It's a lot of outreach that I just hadn't really done for myself in that way before because I hadn't explored a creative job like that. I love to work for myself. The weakness in that is staying disciplined and knowing that I have bills to pay.
It's all on you.
Yeah. Knowing that I have bills to pay, I can't just turn my mind off and show up to a job.
Time becomes money. Money becomes time.
Yeah. And if I'm feeling uninspired in a season of my life or something, I have to figure out what to do and how to make money and how to push through and stay disciplined and at least keep creating something in some way, which has been a really fun challenge. Also difficult. I mean, it's difficult to force yourself to create when you don't want to. But I also know my limits. I know I could be shooting more weddings and doing that kind of stuff. I don't want to. Mm-hmm. And I will do one every now and then, but I'm not forcing myself to do that. And I think that helps me a lot. But in turn, it can be a little difficult because I have to pay the bill somehow.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So this might be a little difficult for you to answer since you've lived here most your whole life, basically. But what would you say you've learned living here?
I would say what has been nice about not having lived anywhere else is seeing how much this town has changed means that there are constantly new people, which on one hand really sucks. On the other hand, as I've gotten more into my career, there are always new clients and there are always new people to work with and people that move here that are looking for someone to do this. And I have my connections here. I've built my network. I've had to figure it out on my own and be in the same place. So that almost gives me an advantage in a way because I've been here my whole life. And when you're new to a place, you're looking for maybe someone that knows their way around or has a network that you can grow into. So, yeah, I would say with all the new people moving here, there's always work, which is really nice. And I think that's always been a question I've asked myself is I would love to move to another city and kind of start new and build a new network. I guess I just don't know where.
Yeah.
And because I've not really had anything specifically calling to me, then I don't think it's necessary for me to move at the moment because I like to travel and build a network that way, even though I don't live there. I can still build a network. And that way, if I do find a place that I want to live, I already have some people there that maybe I met through tour or through mutual friends or I don't know. So one day I'd like to move, but my family's here, my friends are here, and with what I do, there are constantly new clients and new work. And because right now I'm establishing my business and establishing everything that I do and wanting to market myself, it's just a little easier, I guess, to kind of hang out and build a foundation. And then I can move when it feels right. But yeah, I have been curious to know what it's like to move to a new city. You don't know anyone, and you establish a career that way, but I'm also not complaining with what I'm doing right now because I switched my entire career path less than 2 years ago. So it almost feels like a new city in a way because I'm doing something completely different and thinking about what I'm doing in a completely different way.
Right.
And I think if I was in a new city and establishing a new career, I think it would probably stunt my growth in some ways. And in a lot of ways, it forces me to grow somewhere else. But I think right now I'm very much into the idea of building my foundation here.
Definitely.
Where I know and where I'm comfortable and able to be a local to someone that may be new here.
Definitely.
Yeah.
On that same page, what is some advice you would give to an aspiring artist who's going to move here and do art?
I would say just keep your mind and heart as open as possible. There are a lot of creatives here. On the other hand, it is a very small town, and you can get to know people pretty quickly. And because there are so many creatives here, you have more opportunities to have a community of people that know what it's like and that can relate to what you're doing and how hard it is to stand out amongst a bunch of creatives, but you also, if you lean into the community of having so many creatives around you, it can be really comforting and inspiring as well.
Okay, great. So, what is something absurd you ever do?
Absurd?
Yeah.
Define absurd in this instance.
Something that you do that's kind of bizarre. I don't know. I could give an example of me. When I was younger, in order to go to sleep, I used to bang my head against my pillow, like to rhythms of music or to just songs in my head. But that would like tire me out and then I would go to sleep.
Hey, if it worked, it would.
Yeah, it did. Or the weird thing is I like vacuum,
Okay.
which is kind of absurd.
Yeah. That is absurd considering it's one of the worst sounds ever. What's the absurd thing? Why is that the hardest question you've asked? Most absurd thing.
Or just an absurd. It could be something you really like that people are like, why do you like that?
Dang, I can't even. The first answer that comes to mind, though, I don't feel like it's really all that absurd. But I could listen to one song for a couple of hours.
Oh, really?
I like to listen to, if I'm really addicted to a song at the moment, I will listen to it over and over and over, like nonstop for a couple hours.
What song has that been recently?
Recently, there's this song called "The Baddest Bitch" by Trina. I think the beat, my friend said it sounded like Goosebumps, the show,
Yeah.
like that theme song. I don't know. So sometimes I'll choose a song. Recently, another song was "Luxury" by Gwen Stefani.
Okay.
Another one is I especially whenever I edit, I will listen to one song over and over. My go-to editing song is "Dogtooth" by Tyler the Creator.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know. I really like that. But not every song is loopable.
Yeah.
I could really love a song and not necessarily listen to it over and over. But sometimes if I get in the car and I don't know what I want to listen to, I will just put on one song and I'll never get tired of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it kind of changes like bi-weekly, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
I usually have one song that I'll listen to like 800 times. Another song is Pacer by Doechii.
Oh, really?
That one is fucking awesome.
I'll have to check these songs out. And then, really quick, how can people support you as an artist?
I am about to start selling prints, and I want to make more like photo books and zines and that kind of stuff. So I guess outside of the typical answer of follow me on Instagram,
Yeah.
and even just for any photographers is buy the physical media. That's how you can support. And I soon will have the physical media. But I think even outside of photography and like musicians and stuff too, buying a tangible thing is the best way to ever support an artist.
Yeah.
CD, cassette, vinyl, prints, photo books, that kind of stuff. Because it keeps the art alive. We're not gonna have the internet forever. So having the physical copy of something is and always will be so important.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sierra, for coming over and doing this.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.